All right, so welcome near to the very end of this series. So, this series is the book Python for DevOps, and I'm on chapter 16. That's the last chapter. There's this final part reviews before the appendix, but I think this is pretty much the end of the book. So, this is or it's an interview. It's an interview with Glenn Solomon. I don't know who that is, but hopefully we will learn. What are some brief pieces of wisdom you can offer to Python and DevOps folks? All companies will become software companies. There will be 4 to 5 companies that will be fundamental in this growth. DevOps is a critical aspect of this evolution. The velocity of change is important. New and different jobs will be created. Okay, so here's some more information about this person. Yeah, so I got a LinkedIn link directly in there, so I'll definitely follow him. Um, and is this an author? No, it doesn't look like it's an author, so I'm not sure who this oh, this is Glenn Solomon. Yeah, so this is going to be a interview with each of the authors. All right, so the next person is Andrew Nyan. Where do you work and what do you do there? I am the program director of health informatics and the chair of the Department of Health Professions at the University of San Francisco. My research interests involve the application of machine/deep learning to healthcare data with a specific focus on unstructured data. This includes text using NLP as well as sensor data using signal processing and analysis, both of which highly benefit from advances in deep learning. I am also a founder and CTO of Claro Incorporated, a digital health startup focused on machine learning and NLP to empower cancer patients from diagnosis through survival. We help patients prioritize what they need to do next and how best to ask questions of their physicians and care team. What is your favorite cloud and why? Well, I started exploring cloud services primarily from the perspective of IaaS, which stands for Infrastructure as a Service. So he's looking for things like databases, as far as I understand, using AWS. I'd most recently been using GCP for my work. I made the switch early on purely due to the cost saving when deploying a HIPAA compliant solution. Since then, I've been using GCP out of convenience since it's what I have the most experience with. However, where possible, I do my work using platform agnostic tools to minimize impact should I need to make the change. From a machine learning perspective, I'm much more agnostic or happy to use either AWS or GCP, depending on the particulars of the machine learning project. That said, for my next project, which will involve collecting, storing, and processing a significant amount of data, I am planning on using GCP given the ease of developing and running Apache Beam jobs on various runners, including Google Dataflow. When did you start using Python? I started using Python about 15 years ago as a web development language when Django was first released. Since then, I've used it as a general purpose programming/scripting language as well as a data science language. What's your favorite thing about Python? My favorite thing is that it is a ubiquitous, interpretable, object-oriented language. It runs on pretty much any system and provides the power of OOP, object-oriented programming, with the simplicity of an interpreted scripting language. What is your least favorite thing about Python? white space. I understand the reasoning behind using white space the way it does. However, it gets annoying when trying to determine the scope of a function that spans more than a screen can display. What is the software industry going to look like in 10 years? So the year 2030. This book was written in 2020. I think we will see more and more people doing software development without writing as much code. Yeah, that's kind of a head-on. ChatGPT really made that the case. Similar to how Word and Google Docs make it easy for anyone to format a document without manual word processing. I think folks will be able to write small functions or use GUIs, ChatGPT, to take care of simple business logic. Wow, he really nailed it on the head. In some sense, as tools like AWS Lambda and Google Cloud Functions become the norm, we'll see an increasing amount of turnkey functions that don't require formal computer science training to use effectively. Yeah, and I think that's a big part of what custom GPTs are. It's kind of an effort to make that happen. So you can click Explore on ChatGPT, and look at this. Generates a website. So you can make your own website just by starting a chat with this custom GPT and say, my local town in Austin, Texas has a zoo and their site is really out of date. Write a new one that looks better. Yeah, so I can like plug in. I've actually never been here. Oh, and that's
modern website for the zoo
true,
in Austin,
actually.
Texas. I'll need some additional details to ensure the website accuracy.
That's actually true. The site does look a little bit out of date. Okay, so yeah, we can see that this is already happening. This is a very, very astute, I think is the right word, prediction. What technology would you short? And I'm not sure what they mean by that. I think they're talking about like in a stock market sense where you would use a lot of it now, but then quickly abandon it. So I would short MLAAS, machine learning as a service companies. That is companies that focus purely on machine learning algorithms. Just as we don't see companies that provide word processing services, tools, and platforms such as AutoML or SageMaker will make it easy enough for most companies to bring machine learning capability in-house. While we can't solve all machine learning problems using such tools, we can probably solve 80 to 90% of them. So there will still be companies creating new ML approaches or providing ML as a service, but we'll see immense consolidation around major cloud providers versus the endless stream of companies doing machine learning that we see today. And I feel like that's been the case as well. And that's kind of good news because you can just get your AWS machine learning cert and be good for a long time. Well, I honestly, I don't know. What is the most important skill you would recommend someone interested in Python DevOps learn? Learn the concepts, not just the tools and tooling. New paradigms will come and go, but for every paradigm, we'll see dozens of competing tools and libraries. If you're only learning the specific tool or library, you'll quickly fall behind as a new paradigm starts to materialize and take over. So that's spot on as well, I think. What is the most important skill you would recommend someone learn? Learn how to learn. Yep. Figure out how you learn and how you can learn quickly. As with Moore's Law, where we saw the doubling of processor speeds with each generation, we are seeing accelerating growth of DevOps tools. Some build on existing approaches, while others attempt to supplant them. In any case, you'll need to know how you learn so that you can quickly and efficiently learn about the ever-increasing number of tools out there, and then quickly decide if it's worth pursuing. Tell the readers something cool about you. I enjoy hiking, backpacking, and generally being outside. In my free time, I also volunteer with the search and rescue team of my local sheriff's office, usually searching for missing people in the woods. There's probably some horror stories there to talk about. But also during disasters such as the Camp Fire that hit Paradise, California. Yeah, so this was spot on. I want to make sure that this person is added to my LinkedIn because those were some perfect 2020 in hindsight. All of those are perfect. So, okay. I feel like this is a familiar name. I think it's kind of a more common name. All right, well, perhaps this person doesn't have yeah, I don't think this person has LinkedIn. All right. Well, moving on to the next author. So the next author is Gabriella Romaine. Hello, what is your name and current profession? Hello, my name is Gabriella Romaine, and I'm currently an undergraduate student studying computer science at Boston University. Where do you work and what do you do there? I'm an intern at Red Hat Incorporated, where I work on the Ceph team. I mainly work with Ceph Medic, a Python tool that performs check against Ceph clusters, either by fixing bugs in old checks or resolving issues with new checks. I also work with the DocUbetter team to update Ceph's documentation. What is your favorite cloud and why? Though I've only ever really used Google Cloud Storage, I can't really make a point as to why it's my favorite. I just happened to try it out, and without much reason to dislike it, I have stayed loyal to it for the last 10 years. I do like its simple interface, and as someone who does not like to keep much digital clutter, the 15 gigabyte limit does not bother me. Yeah, that's the case with me too. The Google Drive, I keep everything on Google Drive. When did you start using Python? I first learned Python in an introductory computer science course I took in the second half of my sophomore year. What is your favorite thing about Python? Its readability. Python's syntax is among the simplest of the programming languages, making it a great choice for beginners. What is your least favorite thing about Python? I don't have enough experience with other programming languages yet for comparison. What is the software industry going to look like in 10 years? It's nearly impossible to know what the future will hold, especially in a field that is constantly changing. Oh, I disagree with that. I think AI is going to become more and more of a mandatory thing to at least like be comfortable prompting ChatGPT. All I can say is that I hope the software industry continues to evolve in a positive direction and that software is not used wrongfully. Because, like, in my opinion, you know, we've always had Siri. We've always had, okay, Google, tell me this. But it sucked. Like, what's going to happen is there's going to be this point where the people who are really used to doing that are now all of a sudden going to be like the smartest people in the room because like that stuff is now good. It's now a good source of information. It's better than like sitting down and reading a book. And like I think that switch has already been flipped a little bit with ChatGPT. It's just way like it's way far off from being flipped completely, I think, but at some point like there will be a technology developed that can serve as a personal tutor in a capacity higher than any human can. And that will be a completely game-changing, like that will be a total paradigm shift. What is the most important skill you would recommend to someone interested in learning Python? Practicing good code style, especially when working with a team. Helps avoid a lot of unnecessary headache. As a Python newbie myself, I find it especially helpful when I read through code that is well organized and has detailed documentation. What is the most important skill you would recommend someone learn? This one isn't exactly a skill, but more of a state of mind. Be willing to learn new things. We're constantly learning, even when we least expect it. So keep an open mind and allow others to share their knowledge with you. Tell the readers something cool about you. I really enjoy playing video games. Some of my favorites are The Last of Us, Hollow Knight, and League of Legends. And then this person has a professional website. So I guess I'll just do my thing if I'm reading a book and someone is all right, well, there's no option to I mean, maybe I could, I mean, what's the harm? They'll probably just reject it. Whatever, it cost me nothing. Okay. All right, next one is, usually I don't do that because I don't like having my, you know, like what if this person is constantly making posts that are like really unsavory and show up in my feed and stuff. I really generally don't like to do that. But anyways, the next person is Rigoberto Roche. Where do you work and what do you do there? I work at NASA Glenn Research Center as lead engineer for the machine for the machine learning and smart algorithms team. I don't think that's how you spell machine. I could be wrong though. My job is to develop decision-making algorithms to control, there's two L's. Control only has one L. All aspects of space communication and navigation. What is your favorite cloud and why? Amazon Web Services, because it is the one I have the most experience with due to its availability in my workflow. When did you start using Python? 2014, which is an interesting answer because that's only 6 years before the book was published. What is your favorite thing about Python? Easy to read, and remember, Python was developed in 1991. Easy to read code and quick development time. What is your least favorite thing about Python? White space delineation. What is the software industry going to look like in 10 years? It is hard to tell. It seems there is a drive to cloud computing and decentralized programming that will drive developers to work as independent contractors for everything. Interesting. It will be a gig economy, not a large business industry. Interesting. Wow, this is a spot-on prediction as well. The biggest shift will be the use of automatic coding tools to separate the creative development from the syntax learning tasks. This can open the door to more creative professionals to develop new things and new systems. Wow. Which technology would you short? Uber and Lyft. Anything that has manual labor that can be automated by narrow AI, driving, warehousing, paralegal work, problems that can be solved by deep learning. Yeah, I don't know if I'm sold on that though. Because, self-driving cars were like just around the corner for the last 20 years. What is the most important skill you would recommend someone interested in Python DevOps learn? The ability to learn quickly with a benchmark of can you be dangerous in 1 month or less? Another is the ability to understand and build from basic principles like a physicist by doing the actual work yourself and understanding more than the theory. What is the most important skill you would recommend someone learn? Brain hooks, memory palace, the Pomodoro technique, and spaced recall self-testing for content absorption. Great answer. Tell the readers something cool about you. I love combat training systems like Rickson Gracie's style jiu-jitsu and Musad Krav Maga, not the sport one. My passion in this world is to build a truly thinking machine. I don't know what that means. I guess they're working on AGI. Personal website. Just Google my name. All right. Yeah, they have a pretty unique name. So, yeah, I'm definitely adding this person. That answer about the gig economy is like so spot on. Oh yeah, this must be the person. Yeah, NASA. So I'll follow this person. All right. So Jonathan Lacour. Where do you work and what do you do there? I am the CTO for Mission, a cloud consulting and managed service provider focused on AWS. At Mission, I direct the creation and definition of our service offerings and lead our platform team, which focuses on driving efficiency and quality via automation. What is your favorite cloud and why? I have deep roots in public cloud, both as a consumer and a builder of public cloud services. That experience has led me to understand that AWS provides the deepest, broadest, and most widespread public cloud available. Because AWS is the clear market leader, and they also have the largest community of open source tools, frameworks, and projects. When did you start using Python? I first started programming in Python in late 1996, around the release of Python 1.4. At the time, I was in high school, but was working in my spare time as a programmer for an enterprise healthcare company. That is badass. Python instantly felt like home, and I have been using Python as my language of choice ever since. What is your favorite thing about Python? Python is a very low friction language that happily fades into the background, allowing the developer to focus on solving problems rather than fighting with unnecessary complexity. Exactly. Great answer. Python is just so much fun to use as a result. What is your least favorite thing about Python? Python applications can be more difficult to deploy and distribute than I'd like. With languages like Go, applications can be built into portable binaries that are easy to distribute, whereas Python programs require significantly more effort. What is the software industry going to look like in 10 years? The last 10 years have been about the rise of public cloud services with a focus on infrastructure as code and infrastructure automation. Where was I? I feel like I missed that boat. I believe that the next 10 years will be about the rise of serverless architectures and managed services. Applications will no longer be built around the concept of servers and will instead be built around services and functions. Many will transition off of servers into container orchestration platforms like Kubernetes, while others will make the leap directly to serverless. What technology would you short? Blockchain. Interesting answer. While an interesting technology, the overreach of its applicability is astounding. And the space is filled with hucksters and snake oil salesmen peddling blockchain as the solution to all problems. That is a big red flag. What is the most important skill you would recommend someone interested in Python DevOps learn? Since I first started using Python in 1996, I've found that the most important driver for learning has been curiosity and the drive to automate. Python is an incredible tool for automation, and a curious mind can constantly find new ways to automate everything from our business systems to our homes. I'd encourage anyone getting started with Python to look for opportunities to scratch your own itches by solving real problems with Python. What is the most important skill you would recommend someone learn? Empathy. Too often technologists embrace technology without considering the impact on humanity and on each other. Empathy is a personal core value for me, and it helps me to be a better technologist, manager, leader, and human. Tell the readers something cool about yourself. I have spent the last 3 years resurrecting my personal website, pulling in content from as far back as 2002. Now my website is my personal archive of memories, photos, writing, and more. So I'll definitely take a look at that. And if he's got a LinkedIn, I'll add him on that. This looks like him, I guess. Oh, kind of does. Maybe it's a doppelganger. Oh yeah, it's a doppelganger. This is what he actually looks like. All right. Okay, so the next person being interviewed is Viley Tulos. Where do you work and what do you do there? I work at Netflix, where I lead our machine learning infrastructure team. Our job is to provide a platform for data scientists that allows them to prototype end-to-end machine learning workflows quickly and deploy them to production confidently. What is your favorite cloud and why? I am a shameless fan of AWS. I have been using AWS since the EC2 beta in 2006. AWS continues to impress me both technically and as a business. Their core pieces of infrastructure like S3 scale and perform extremely well, and they are very robust. From a business point of view, they have done two things right. They have embraced open source technologies, which has made adoption easier in many cases, and they are very sensitive to customer feedback. When did you start using Python? I started using Python around 2001. I remember being very excited about the release of generators and generator expressions soon after I had started using Python. Oh yeah. Generators are kind of interesting because they really create a big optimization. And for anyone who doesn't know, a generator is basically a stateful function. So it's like a function that gives you back different output depending on the last time the function was run. What is your favorite thing about Python? I am fascinated by programming languages in general, not only technically, but also as a medium of human communication and as a culture. Python is an extremely well-balanced language. In many ways, it is a simple and easily approachable language, but at the same time expressive enough to handle even complex applications. It is not a high-performance language, but in most cases it is performance enough, especially when it comes to input-output. Many other languages are better optimized for particular use cases, but only a few are as well-rounded as Python. Also, the CPython implementation is a straightforward piece of C code and much simpler than JVM, V8, or the Go runtime, which makes it easy to debug and extend when needed. Yeah, so you can use Python to write in C. What is your least favorite thing about Python? The other side of being a well-rounded generalist language is that Python is not an optimal language for any particular use case. I miss C when I work on anything performance critical. I miss Erlang when I am building anything required concurrency. And when hacking algorithms, I miss the type interference of OCaml. Paradoxically, when using any of these languages, I miss the generality, pragmatism, and community of Python. What is the software industry going to look like in 10 years? The trend is clear when you look at the past 50 years of computing. Software is eating the world, and the software industry keeps moving upward in the tech stack. Relatively speaking, I don't know what that means. I don't know what upward in the tech spec means. Relatively speaking, we have fewer people focusing on hardware, operating systems, and low-level coding than ever before. Correspondingly, we have an increasing number of people writing software who don't have much experience or knowledge of the lower levels of the stack, which is okay. I think this trend has massively contributed to the success of Python this far. I predict that we will see more and more human-centered solutions like Python in the future, so we can empower an ever-increasing group of people to build software. What technology would you short? I tend to short technologies that assume the technical factors trump human factors. The history is iterated with technologies that were technically brilliant, but failed to appreciate the actual needs of their users. Exactly, like beta versus VHS. Taking this stance is not always easy since it is a natural engineering instinct to feel that technically elegant solutions would deserve to win. What is the most important skill you would recommend someone interested in Python DevOps learn? I would recommend anyone serious about Python, DevOps in particular, to learn a bit about functional programming. Nothing hardcore, just the mindset around idempotency, function composition, and the benefits of immutability. I think the functional mindset is very useful for large-scale DevOps. How to think about immutable infrastructure, packaging, etc. What is the most important skill you would recommend someone learn? Learning to identify what problems are worth solving is critical. That's so true. So many times, that is so true. So many times I have observed software projects where an almost infinite amount of resources has been put into solving problems that ultimately don't matter or have already been solved or yeah. I have found Python to be a good way to hone this skill since it allows you to quickly prototype fully functional solutions that can help you see what is relevant. Tell the readers something cool about you. With a friend of mine, I hacked an urban game that was played in New York City. Players took photos with their phones that were projected on a giant billboard in the Times Square in real time. A nerdy cool thing about this is that the whole game, including the client running on the phones, was written in Python. What's even cooler is that the game took place in 2006 in the Jurassic era of smartphones, predating the iPhone. That is pretty cool. You could get your face up on the Jumbotron by playing this game. All right, so he's got a LinkedIn, so I'll add him to the LinkedIn. All right, by clicking follow. Then I'll go back and so the next one is Joseph Race. I'm kind of running out of time here. Yeah, they interviewed a lot of people, and they're not all authors. They interviewed like random people in the industry. All right, well, you know what? I think I got, yeah, so I think there's enough left there where I got to do it all in at least one more video, if not two more, and then I have to get to something quick. So I got to end the video here. When I come back, we'll be reading the interview with Gabriella. Was there another Gabriella? I feel like we already spoke to a Gabriella. Oh, I clicked on the wrong bookmark. Okay, so get rid of that one. Get rid of the buggy bookmark that just recreates itself even though it's been deleted. There. And now when we come back, we'll be reading about Joseph Race's responses to the interview.